Hi everyone, I'm David from wholeselfcoach.com, and joining me today is intuitive life coach Linda Rowntree. And Linda's going to be sharing some tips on practicing patience, taking some important time out of the day just for yourself, and also how to deal with everything that's going on in the world right now. So come and join us, and if you'd like to find out a bit more about Linda, you can visit her website at lindarowntree.com. Hello, looking all glam.
Pardon?
Looking all glam.
Oh, thanks.
Pleasure. Thank you for joining me today, Linda. How are you? Are you well?
It's my pleasure. Thank you. I'm well. I'm good.
Good. What is it that you do for a living now?
I call myself an intuitive life coach and psychic medium. I used to be a corporate accounts manager.
Wow.
And that was my day job. And I gave all that up to do what I'm doing now. And I haven't regretted any moment of it. And I love everything that I do. So it's been a good move.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing that for now?
Well, I started before all this became popular. So this was back in 1998. So, people hadn't heard of Reiki, they hadn't heard of reflexology, or if they had, it was very limited. So it's been quite a journey.
Yeah. Do you find that people sort of are quite embracing of things like Reiki and all of that alternative medicine?
They are now.
Yeah.
They are now. And I find the spiritual side of, especially with children at the moment, the spiritual side is coming through more, which maybe because of the shift in the parent, embracing complementary therapies, embracing the psychic world and all that kind of thing. So maybe that's helping the children as well now, because they are quite special. They are quite something, the children that are coming through and have been coming through over the last 20 years.
Yeah. And do you think since sort of lockdown and COVID and things like that, people and maybe even parents as well are just looking for some different routes to take with their children, so they're not so stressed out and overwhelmed?
I feel that mainstream isn't working at the moment, or our general understanding of what families and units are, because obviously we're all kind of focused at the minute on being at home and school learning and that kind of thing if you have children at school. So it's had a huge impact on the family dynamic. And I have found that parents are kind of like have been struggling with that. So it kind of, if I help them, then I can help the children. That's the way
I love it. I love it. And it's great that people are open and susceptible to that kind of alternative route as well, I suppose, especially these days, because people's options are limited, aren't they? Or they believe that they are, because things like gyms are closed and people are working from home and that kind of thing. So I know we talked about it. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, but that's why I feel, like if you get the basics right, what you're eating, what you're drinking, exercise and all that kind of thing, the fundamentals right, then you've got something to build on.
Yeah.
And with everything being closed, going out to the gym and walking and all that kind of thing, you've got to take responsibility.
Yeah. What would be your sort of top tips for people to survive in lockdown and beyond, when we even come out of lockdown?
Patience.
I love that. Patience.
We're all keen to get there. We're also keen to do this, do that, and everything else. But I would just say, just sit back and allow it.
Yeah.
Sit back and allow things to unfold, allow things to happen. And if you can't control them, which we obviously can't with the lockdown and everything, just embrace where you are with it at the moment and how it's working for you and what you need just to get through the day, really.
Yeah, I know, I completely agree with that. And I was thinking, as well as like from a daily tips perspective, it would be, like you said, just keeping things simple and focusing on what you're eating and exercise and things like that.
Absolutely. So, I suppose at the moment, what I'm finding most of all is how to deal with what's going on in the world as it is at the moment. So my top tip for people at the minute has been, certainly over the last year as well, because we had all this from last year, was to just keep your mind, your body, your heart and your spirit in in a higher vibration as possible, which means looking at what you're eating, looking at what you're doing, looking at who you're with, what's happening around you, being mindful of that kind of thing. And just keeping, sitting by yourself, even if you don't do meditation, just sit quietly sometimes, and take time out for you and that sort of thing. So that's probably my top tip. Has been a little while.
What would you say to somebody that's never tried meditation before?
Just sit quietly. Just take time out. If you want to put a little bit of music on, put a little bit of gentle music on, find a quiet space, make sure that you're not disturbed if that's what you need. Let the other family know, because that's one thing about communication. Sometimes we just think, I'll take 5 minutes, I'll go and sit quietly, but you don't kind of communicate that to other people, that's what you need. And it is about what you need in the moment. So just tell family, look, I need 5-10 minutes to myself, and take yourself off. And it's perfectly all right to do that.
I completely.
People don't allow themselves. They don't allow themselves the privilege of just taking 5 or 10 minutes out.
It's that ideal sort of, even just that brief moment of self-care, isn't it? And just taking that time for yourself. And like you said, it might be even 5 or 10 minutes, but at least you've had that 5 or 10 minutes just for you.
Absolutely.
And that was an excellent point about telling if you live with people, tell them, so they don't come barging in the room and what have you. One of the techniques I like to share sometimes with clients, and it's in its most basic form, which is just breathing, which is we call it the 5-5-7. So in for 5, hold for 5, and out for 7, which is all the same. It's all relative, isn't it? But it has the same calming effect. Yeah.
I like to daydream.
Me too.
So I just like to sit and close my eyes and just allow things to form, So But I understand, and I do appreciate the breathing.
It's interesting said about daydreaming. It just made me chuckle, because it made me think of two things. It made me think of a friend of mine that once said to me, I could just sit and look at the colour yellow all day long, which just made me laugh, and I could understand why. And then the other thing is, for me personally, I could just sit and look at a picture all day long. Like people used to have pictures on walls, and I'm thinking of grandparents and things like that. So I used to just drift off. So I'm completely a daydreamer. I think it's healthy to do so as well, isn't it?
Of course it is. It expands the imagination, and like I said, we do get so caught up in what we've got to do, when we've got to do it, and all that kind of thing. So just sit and look at a picture, or look at a flower, or just close your eyes and just hear. Hear the birds singing. Hear the neighbour doing their DIY next door.
Like the extension across the street. But it's true, because it's things like that. And sometimes I think, those, we think about those noises from outside, whether it's birds singing or people drilling or whatever, and it can be frustrating, but it's also a good reminder. We can use it as a good reminder to bring us back to the present moment, because it can be a sort of almost like a bit of an anchor in some respects, can't it? It can just jolt us back into the present moment.
Indeed it can, but then you've got the mind. When you are quiet, allowing your mind to fill that space sometimes, with what you need and what you're asking for, or some kind of information, or just some kind of awareness, or even if you're not asking for anything, just allow your mind to wander and see what comes in.
I think, and that's a good point as well to raise, as well as I think anybody new to meditation thinks they have to, I think they think of the magicians, clear your mind, make it go blank. Well, we know that's not possible. And one of the things to embrace is the thoughts coming and going, and just, I used to say, just sort of tip your hat to it and let it come and go.
Don't judge it. Don't get involved with it. Just allow. The only people that can sit and think of nothing are the people that have nothing and don't do it. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but they sit on a mountaintop somewhere, and they've got no schedule, they've got no family or anything like that. They've just got the moment, and that is very, very rare. Very, very rare. So, if you've only got 5 minutes, then enjoy the 5 minutes.
Yeah, I completely agree. Where can people find out a bit more about you then, Linda, as far as your website and everything is concerned?
I do have a website, and it's quite simple. It's linda rowntree.com. And I do have a Facebook page that's a little bit more complex. I do have a Linda Rowntree one, but that is a personal page. I do have Rainbow House Wellbeing Centre, and that's my business page on Facebook. And so people can, you know, contact me there if they want to. And I post little things on there, you know, just to help people get through, and post what I'm doing on there. So if people want to join me, then they can.
I love that name, Rainbow House. It kind of goes, it kind of a bit insane. Well, the first time we spoke, there was a couple of things that were spookily in sync, and it just makes me think of my logo at wholeselfcoach.com with the little rainbow leaf. So very well connected.
Well, I came across it purely simply because I've always been in love with colour, always loved colour. And I did an intuitive colour therapy course, 2-year course, which involves counselling and that kind of thing. And so, you know, and with the rainbow, it's that symbol of things, better things to come. Traditionally, if you look at the Bible, you know, after the flood, the rainbow appeared, which was the symbol of better things to come, you know, that thing. And I mean, everybody is so, we take it for granted because it's everywhere. And we don't realise the impact that it does have on us, even if it's a colour that we don't like, or even if it's a colour that we love. You know, and our body is colour. It's energy. Which colour is? It's energy. And I liken us to being, you know, the little sun catchers that you get in the window, and then when the light comes and hits it, it refracts the light and it all goes over the wall. Well, that's how I see us. We're the sun catcher. So we have the light coming in, and then that's all displayed out, refracted out into all the different colours that we are.
It's almost again, it's that sort of vibration level, isn't it? That the energy that we vibrate outwards. But you also triggered another memory for me, which is sometimes on a nice summer's evening, just laying on the couch and there's a lot of trees outside, and just especially when the sun's just starting to set, I could stare at a sunset for hours. I mean, obviously it doesn't last for hours, but I just find myself just, it just can transport you to so many different places, can't it, colour?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very emotive.
It is indeed. So was this part of that therapy, was it a therapy course that you said you did, the intuitive one?
It was a 2-year intuitive colour therapy course, and the first year there was a lot of self-exploration, a lot of self-learning, that kind of thing, which I wasn't expecting, dreaded a lot of the time, but looking back on it now, it gave me a lot of tools to help myself, and then I can pass on to other people. And that was the first year, and then the second year was using the colour to heal people. So it can be used through art, it can be used through I've got a big light box that has a rotating wheel on it where it has different coloured lights, and then a big crystal that sits on the top, and the colour comes out through the crystal. So,
that sounds right up my street.
So yeah, but I use it in a slightly different way now. So, but you know, colour's very important. I do a lot of artwork and what have you. See, my wallpaper's quite colourful.
I love it. I love it. It just makes me, like my bland white background, it just makes me feel a bit more alive when I'm looking at those colours. But I just wanted to pick up on another point that you just made, actually, which is about the journey that as coaches that we have to go on, you know, to be able to understand ourselves, to then be able to help other people. And it is quite a difficult path to go down initially, isn't it? Because you do really have to just look at yourself.
You do, and you know, it can be quite dark in places. And but it resolved an awful lot for me, and taught me an awful lot about myself. And yeah, it was really, really good, really good.
I think for me, for my story, I think even just in the last couple of years of coaching, I've just realized how much I own my own life and existence, and how much control I can have over it, and where I put myself in relation to other people. Because I used to be one of these people that would always make myself second best as a result of being bullied as a kid. I was always trying to please everybody. And that's becoming a coach just shifted that for me and just made me, I don't want to say think of myself more, because that can be misinterpreted as being selfish, but just position myself in my own path, you know, front and center a bit more, rather than trying to dull myself down.
But you know, you're the most important thing to you.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, so why shouldn't you treat that with respect and love and everything else like you would other people? And doing that, then you have other people do that for you as well.
Again,
so
it comes back to the energy thing, doesn't it?
In a circle.
Yeah. And yeah, but one thing that came to mind that I always say to people is put yourself at the top of your own to-do list. If you're a to-do list maker, make sure there's something there for the top. How do you normally start your day then, Linda? I could talk to you for hours. I feel like all these questions are coming up. How do you normally start your day? Do you start it off quite peacefully?
Well, my day starts before I even get out of bed, and I have about 20 minutes where I do a meditation where I tell my cells in my body that they regenerate in a complete and perfect way. And so that keeps me fit and healthy. So I do that before I even get out of bed. I then thank the universe for the day that I've got coming up. And so that's how I start. And then I just get up and get myself ready and breakfast, and then whatever happens.
I love that. I'm one of these people. I have to have structure to my day, or else it'll just go awry. But the first hour to an hour and a half on my daily structure is self-care. So it's exercise, meditation, journaling, and that kind of thing.
The journaling I tend to do before I go to bed, because I just think that clears stuff out of the way, and that just allows them for sleep to come, and I can enjoy that then for what it is, rather than have things tumbling over in my mind during the night. But if it does happen, then I just get up and I start journaling in the night. You know, I write it down, what's going on, just to clear my mind, and then I go back to bed again.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. For me, I think it's for anybody watching, it's what works for you, isn't it? And what routine it's got to work for you. And I find sometimes if I have that sort of download onto paper at the start of the day, then I feel sort of ready for the day. But equally, I'll keep it by the bed just in case anything's playing on my mind at night. Write it down, and then it's out the way. Well,
before I go to bed, is I evaluate the day, how well it's gone, what's happened, you know, give thanks and I'm grateful for what has happened, that kind of thing. And then I have a plan for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I already have an idea of, if I've got clients, you know, where they're going to fit into my day. If I have to go and do something else, shopping or do something in the garden or whatever. So I already have a basic plan for tomorrow anyway, but it doesn't mean to say that's set in stone.
Oh, dude, that's just spot on. I have my plan in my calendar. It's all color. You'd love it, I think. Actually, everything's different colors because it has to stand out. Otherwise, if it's gray or black, it just fades into obscurity. But it's all color coded. But I'm very much like you in the sense of it's flexible. So those are the tasks that I want to do for the day. However, I'm not rigid. It has to happen between this time and this time. So I can move that if I want to, as long as it happens, and I'm committed to that.
That's right. But it has to move. Energy has to move.
It does. And interestingly, I think I know for myself, if I've got a lot on my mind, I find that walking helps. That motion, that I can't sit still if my mind is. Or if I'm on an important phone call, I'll be walking around the room. I can't sit still. It's interesting, isn't it?
It is, because it's that energy.
Yeah,
it's that energy.
Well, Linda, it's been fab talking to you. So just remind us again where we can find you. LindaRowntree.com, wasn't it?
It's LindaRowntree.com.
Yeah.
And it's Linda with an I.
Yeah.
And Facebook is Rainbow House Wellbeing Centre. And so they're the two main ones. I do have an email if people want that. It's just Linda@LindaRowntree.com again.
Perfect.
And that's good.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time.
You're very, very welcome.